Hey everybody, this is episode 2 of the Toradora Discord server podcast. I'm your host, Dark Trennow, and with me today hosting is I'm Always Losing. You will probably remember him from episode 1. And today we have
How's it going?
say something, Loss.
What's up? It's me, the dick joke god.
And then we have a special guest with us today, so there's 3 people on board today, and his name is Smiling Joe 125, one of our active,
One
most active
question before we
users.
start. Is it Smiling Joe 125 or Smiling Joe 125? It's asked by many scientists, Albert Einstein himself. I've always been curious.
I always say 125 or 125.
Really?
Yes, fascinating. I know.
I'll get back to Albert on that one.
I don't I don't usually open up with this question, but since we're talking about it, what's the origin of your username and why 125?
Okay, so I think I've told this on the server like once or twice maybe, but so originally this username was Smiling Joe 100, and I was on the Xbox 360, and I don't know if you guys remember about what was it, a couple of years ago where Xbox 360 you got like a free month of gold online for like every new account you made. So
Yeah, that was like a long time ago. Or like it would come in games. It was like
yeah.
free.
So essentially, what I did was instead of having to pay for Xbox like Alive and whatnot, I just made a new account every time. So, and each time I just renamed myself Smiling Joe 101, 102, and eventually it stopped at
Oh my God.
125.
That's not what I was expecting. So Xbox 360, this was a long time ago.
Yeah. I don't remember how long ago it was.
Especially since you got up to 25.
Yeah. I admire the consistency all across platforms.
Well, I'm like terrible at naming, so as soon as I found one, I just took it.
What happened to the accounts? Are they just drifting their way through Microsoft's
Heck if
archives?
I know, probably.
Joe is actually
Man.
25 of the 26 Xbox One owners.
Yeah, he's actually cloned. There's like 60 other fucking
Okay,
smiling Joes.
Okay, I
Each
think we're
time
getting
he gets
too
on-
personal questions here. I think we need to move along.
Sorry.
So I'll throw you the softball ones.
Okay.
How did you get into Toradora? How'd you find not just Toradora, but the server as well?
So you said the server as well? You cut out a bit there.
Oh yeah, sorry. The server as well too.
Okay, so the anime first I found, I think it was, I can't remember what year or whatever, but essentially I was really into a anime called Rosario Vampire, and my favorite character was Mizore, and her voice actor was the same voice actor as Taiga. And I'm like, okay, let me just look up the voice actor and see what else she did, and eventually I found Toradora.
So same voice actor. Is this for the sub or dub of Toradora?
The sub. I watched in the sub, and then a while later I watched in the dub.
So Rosario X Vampire, is the manga still ongoing?
No, it ended a while ago.
Yeah, I know it's pretty classic, but some people, One Piece, don't have the balls to actually end it.
That sounds about right. I know someone who will not be happy to hear that, but
What's up, Shin?
Shin is slated to appear on one of these, and I think it's safe to say he's going to bring it up. Like, he's going to say, hey, remember that time in episode 2?
Probably. But,
That's not the only one, though. There's a lot
Yeah.
like that. That's why, I feel like more light novels are getting adapted these days, is because they actually have endings a lot of the time.
yeah, who'd have thunk it having an ending would be a good idea.
I'm saying. But speaking of manga, Joe, preach Komi-san to my man.
Okay, so Komi-san is a very excellent anime. It's or a manga. Ignore that. It's very wholesome. I hope it gets an anime adaptation, and yeah, it's very adorable.
You heard it here first, folks. even Joe likes it. That means it's
Even
good.
I like it. Wow.
Either it's good or it's
I-
shit.
Here's the thing about that, though, and not to derail us too much from how you found the server, but when I think of people who have like strange tastes in the server, I don't think like Joe is a person who's hard to please. I'm thinking Wishes.
Yeah.
Wishes,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I think he'd like
Wishes
it,
is
though.
renowned for his unique taste in literally everything.
It's something. It's something Hip would like. I
I
think.
go along with that. Yeah.
But how did you find our little Discord server, though, Joe?
So, like everyone else, I started off internet stuff, talking with friends on Skype, and then eventually
Oh.
migrated over to Discord, and I had
2012.
yeah, but I had just the IRL friend server, and that was basically it. And then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and search for some stuff that I like, and maybe join those servers. And so I did like, okay, a TF2 one, all right, and Warhammer 40k one, and then I'm like, oh, a Toradora one, and then there you go.
Ah, so I assume you found the subreddit and from there.
Yeah, and this is before it went quote unquote official, so that was fun.
Ah. And so here's another easy one for you. Who's the favorite character? We keep a tally of this.
Favorite character in Toradora?
Did that come across, Joe?
Yeah, favorite character in Toradora, right?
Uh-oh. Josephine, you there?
Can you guys hear me?
This isn't good.
Oh man,
Oh.
let me
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
All right, can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, but
Okay, so I mean Taiga, obviously. So
Okay. So that
all that
brings the
suspense
score
for
from
nothing.
1-2. Some might say that's the obvious answer, but I call it a right one as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dark, you know what? What's your favorite character? Let's add to the tally.
I'm sorry?
What's your favorite character?
My favorite character is easily Taiga.
Oh, surprise,
Um,
surprise.
Well, like I said, I called it the right answer. Not to delve too heavily into it, but like out of all the character arcs and all the transformations and challenges and experiences they experience and overcome and all that, Taiga's was just the most interesting to me. I felt like she had the most to go. And there were some characters that I really like Toradora, I really do, but I don't consider it a masterpiece. Kill me, I'm in the Toradora server and I don't consider it a masterpiece. But there were like a couple characters that I'm kind of like, oh, we could have done a little bit more with, don't you think? And like the obvious one there, of course, is Kitamura.
Yeah.
Oh no, he should have just been cut.
What's that?
But like Taiga's was.
Okay, so here's what should have happened with Toradora.
Well, hold on.
It should have been a
Let me give
harem.
some spoiler disclaimers here. I don't know who would watch who hasn't seen it yet, but if you're thinking about watching Toradora and you haven't yet, we will probably
Okay.
discuss the ending here in a little bit.
I know everybody's gonna agree with me on this one, so Toradora should have been a fan service harem. I'm gonna put it out there.
It could have used elements of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, I was just completely joking.
No,
No.
real talk. It could have used some elements from it.
Like cutting Kitamura and just making him another girl, or bringing one of like the two background girls, or the president.
Yeah, like I said, there were a couple characters we really could have seen more of. But moving on.
The president.
So
President Kitamura really could have been built.
I mean, that's how it is for
Nothing was
most
done with them.
animes and mangas, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, where does Toradora stack against your other favorite anime? We know how I feel about it. Where does it stack for you?
I mean, it is my favorite anime, so yeah.
Soul.
I don't see. It's always been easy for me to pick my favorite, but then my second favorite is always the hardest one. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just my favorite. Not much else I can say about that.
No, but where does Toradora rank in your favorites?
Like, what do you mean? It is my favorite.
He said it's his favorite, didn't he?
No, I believe you said Soul was his favorite, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
but I believe we're experiencing some technical difficulties on Joe's end.
Yeah, apparently Joe's entire family's on the internet right now.
Again.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Joe,
Hello.
yes.
All right, cool.
Yep, there we go.
All right, so I just had to close the Minecraft server real quick. Plug for that, by the way. No, just kidding.
By the way, since we know Joe has a Minecraft server, we're gonna be sure to shut that down because who's still playing Minecraft now?
Wow, so mean.
Yeah.
Why are you so mean to the hip? My goodness.
Fortnite. Hop on Fortnite,
All
boys.
right. Anyways, yeah, it is my favorite anime, so that's how it stacks up.
Joe doesn't want to say it out loud, but his second favorite.
No, no, that is no.
So that's the first time we've heard it on the podcast, but since it's only episode 2, I suspect it's going to become really common to hear that Tora is their absolute favorite. So that takes care of another looming question, which is your all-time favorite.
Oh, well, there you go.
So what about Tora makes it your all-time favorite, though?
I don't know. It just kind of hit me in the right time. You know, I was not exactly a very happy person at the time. I was feeling very down, very lonely, all that kind of crap, and it just felt, I just connected with the characters a lot. Taiga the most, that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You do you just kind of commit home invasions with your wooden katana? Is that why there's that deep connection?
I mean, not
Personal.
wooden
Remember,
katana,
we need to stay out of
but
the
maybe like
personal
just
realm.
generic wooden sword. Yeah. Nah, come
He's
on
not a
now.
weeb.
This is a standard of enlightened taste.
I think the
we
most
don't have
interesting
weeaboos,
thing.
not in this server.
Yeah. We don't allow weeaboos on this podcast.
Yeah, they're not allowed.
So I think the most interesting thing about Toradora is the continued support that it has, seeing as it came out in 2009, and it's still like the characters are performing well
Yeah, yeah.
in like character contests to this day.
Yeah, it's strange because most stuff from like 2009, 2010, it's actually when you hear them about them, it's like, oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. But Toradora does have this enduring popularity to it. I think it is more niche territory now, but it's enduring. There is still a fan base for it. There's still active people talking about it, people who are seeing it for the first time and still liking it. It doesn't feel dated at any point.
Yeah, especially with the animation. Usually stuff and then looks like cardboard, but
Right.
it looks really good, especially
Yeah.
the fight scene. With the
Yeah,
president
I
and
gotta
Taiga.
say the 2 fight scenes the show has marvelously animated.
You wouldn't expect
action
it
animes
from-
that wanna right. They're like action animes that really don't quite have that same level of quality consistently that Toradora has.
Yep.
For
Yeah,
those 2
because
scenes.
one thing I've seen that's really common with like cheap budget action is like they'll start to swing the sword and the screen will go black and it'll just show like a slash across the screen.
Yeah.
Like it won't actually show the cut. Like with Trinity 7, they did that.
Smash Brothers style.
Yeah, and it does not look good.
When
Don't bring
the
up
logo
Smash
comes
Brothers
in.
here. Come on now.
No,
Yeah,
just for the
Joe's
first
gonna
of all,
start
I love
talking about how he
Smash
beats me all the
Brothers.
time.
And I've heard mean things about you in Project M.
What?
But
No.
I mean, like when you see the loading screen, you have the cut across the screen. It's just black and
No, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean the other thing that they do for action fighting animes is that like there is that famous like Naruto pain thing where his face is just like all stretched out and stuff like that. So, I mean I've seen that
Yeah.
fairly common now.
Mhm.
So
I think Naruto, towards the end, when they started getting big budget, looked really good. Like the Madara versus the
Right,
Shinobi
right.
army. And then obviously Pain versus Naruto. I think one of the most beautifully animated shows I've seen in a long time is Yokozuna Quartet. It's really, really well
I
done.
don't think I've seen that.
That and Zvezda World Plot. Zvezda World Plot looks really good. Ultra, I can vouch for that.
So, how did you get into anime first, Joe? Like originally, since you're on an anime podcast and for an anime server talking about anime, where the heck did you find this strange Japanese animation hobby of yours?
So I blame my friend. He is a massive freaking weeb. In fact, he's actually going to Japan fairly soon.
Name drop him if he's in the
No,
server.
he's not.
We'll let
He's not in
everyone
the
know.
server. So,
because this is a no weep zone. Thank
yeah.
you.
But yeah, he
We need Shin to ban
I
this
kept
guy.
seeing him, like, he was one of those kind of kids who, like, in class, he would always basically just ignore everything the teacher said and just do his own thing. And, like, literally every day he would pull out his computer and just watch anime.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So,
hardcore.
and, you know, the teachers never complained
not a
or
public
anything,
thing
so.
for me.
But,
Your teacher's a weeb.
I mean,
underground.
maybe. That was a while ago, though. But, yeah, eventually he just suggested an anime or two for me, and then off I went.
Okay.
What did you watch first?
I think technically my first anime that I watched on my own, like, we're not talking, Dragon Ball and Naruto, nothing like that. That was on Toonami or anything. If we're not counting those, probably Rosario Vampire.
Yeah. You watched Sora no Otoshimono.
I did. I'm also in.
I know that. I know you're
What's
really
that?
into that. I know you really like that one. You
Eh.
talk about it a lot.
I think it's good. I think it suffers from its protagonist here and there because it's generic
don't
fan
like that
service
guy
here
at
and
all.
there, and then like in the manga near the end, stuff happens. I'm not going to say too much,
Mhm.
but yeah.
So I take it you're a sub guy.
A what?
A sub guy. Like you prefer to watch subs over dubs.
Generally, but I certainly don't mind dubs when they're done at least okay.
Mhm.
Like I
What's
your
actually
favorite
enjoy the
dub?
Toradora dub, so
Yeah, the Toradora dub is great. I think dubs as a whole are. I mean, I'll, full disclosure, I do watch dubs. I don't care for subs. To me, I'm just kind of like I get it. I get the argument like when anime was not big in the West, and so as a result, it was very low budget, niche kind of stuff.
Right,
you know,
right.
To actually have it localized. But nowadays, I'm kind of like, come on, there are whole companies devoted to just
yeah.
localizing this and making it available to stream. You know,
I'm gonna argue from the other side. I'm not gonna make this a dub podcast. God, I need to wash my hands after I finish recording. I think the most interesting thing about subs is that's how it started. Like people would order VHS tapes and then fan sub them.
Yep.
That's
yep.
like when you go on pirating websites, they're all yellow and shit. It's fan subs. It's not done by like professional companies. And then Japanese is just such a beautiful language. I feel like emotion is conveyed a lot better. Unless it's like a really, really, really well done dub, I will always prefer a sub just because the language, I think.
I can respect that. My arguments for dubs are a little more practical. First of all, that's really cool that it actually just started out as people doing it at home. That's really cool. That's a hobby I can respect just for the amount of devotion and time you have to put towards that.
Yep.
To get every scene right and just to import stuff, on VHS. And not to make it a subs versus dubs debate or anything, but
People in the Discord would love that.
eventually, I think it would mostly be me just for the dubs. I think most people would occasionally throw me a bone and say, well, if the dub isn't bad, but then they leave it at that.
Yep, pretty much.
I always find it hilarious though that somebody will say, oh, it conveys emotion very well or something like that. It's like, because it's a language you don't understand. How are you accurately judging the quality of the voice?
I guess
I
that's
have to
fair.
ask.
So I feel like when it's done in Japanese, translation is done a lot better because it's the original language. So like puns and stuff like that always get lost in dub translation.
Right.
Well,
Subs, they
at
can
the
put,
same time, there
asterisks.
might be certain puns that are like, fly over Westerners' heads because we don't get it. So unless there's like a
That's
note
why
or something.
I prefer subs because like a lot of the time they can just slip in an asterisk.
Well, yeah, but I'm more saying like if
Dubs,
they
it's a little bit
don't.
harder to
So
do. Yeah, I know what you mean. And then again, dubs, they aren't usually working with the original director and stuff like that. It's usually
I like to counter that. because we had to wait longer for Ava 3 to be localized because Ano threw out the script for the first dub of it, and like he is literally the director, and like he literally decided that like, oh no, I don't like this, and we got the one that we did get, which is Ava 3 is renowned for just pissing people off for a variety of reasons, but then like that's literally a case of a director being directly involved with.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a special case because a lot of the time it's dub companies they'll do like tons and tons of anime a year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Plus, Japanese voice actors are way hotter.
I mean, each to their own, as I always say.
Well, like I said, I don't want it to turn into a dub versus sub debate, though. That would be a fun episode. I'd love to do a big group episode where we just have people talk about that.
It would be a lot of yelling.
It would be, but
Yeah.
hopefully
Slap.
fun yelling. So going from there, all right, so we've talked about anime a lot, as was predicted. What do you do outside of anime? Like, what's your other pastimes?
Playing games, watching YouTube,
What kind of games?
literally like everything. I think the only genre I don't like is horror, and that's about it. So
Really?
right now I'm playing Jurassic Park, Minecraft, TF2, which is just my general pastime thing. Very occasionally I play some of my Switch games like Hyrule Warriors. So yeah.
Do you still actively play Warhammer? Because they just released the DLC. Didn't
You mean Total Warhammer?
I have no idea. I just saw it on the Steam page.
What was that?
I don't play the game. I just saw it on the Steam page. I don't know anything about the game.
You're cutting out a bit there. Something on the Steam stage, I heard.
I only saw the DLC was releasing on the Steam page. I didn't actually see like what game it was for. I just saw Warhammer and then a DLC release.
I see.
Now, it's weird that you say you don't like horror games because we play Nazi zombies together all the time, and that's not horror.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not
game,
horror.
It's Nazi zombies is set in the horror world, you know. The game itself, of course, isn't horror proper, but I mean,
When you hear the voices of the characters and you hear their reactions, it's at least post the first map, it's not that bad.
yeah, right.
They're just like
I can understand that because it's certainly not real horror or anything. I don't want anyone to think, oh my God, Dark Trennow thinks freaking Nazi zombies is a horror game. No, I don't think that, but I mean, like, obviously it's trying to have horror elements to it. It is a game about slaying zombies, or it's a game mode rather about slaying zombies. So
I guess.
On that note, how do you feel about the Resident Evil 2 remake?
I never played it, so again,
then
like
it's
they're horror
lost.
games, so
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 I think was a good game if you want to get into horror.
wasn't like more of the recent ones like starting at Resident Evil 5 or something? Then they turned into more of like survival or not survival horror, just like action game or whatever.
5 and 6
Yeah.
were action, and then 7 was quote unquote returning to roots, and it was survival horror.
Okay.
weird thing, it's survival horror. 7 is, but like the gameplay wise, not exactly like the original set. I think most people.
No,
would
it's
say.
nothing like gameplay. It's an FPS, so it's not like Resi 1, 2, 3,
Oh, really?
4,
Okay.
but it is survival horror. It's more like if you played PT, it was
Okay.
more like that, in my opinion.
Alright, cool.
So, you've often been called. In fact, I remember when I first joined the server, and I think we were just a week or two after that, we did one of those peer pressure, everyone get in the voice chat ones.
Yeah.
Now, and the way because before I hopped in, I asked, if I hear your voice, is it going to shatter the illusion I have of you in my head? You described yourself as having a sort of streamer voice. Do you think that's accurate?
I mean, according to Soy, at least. So. I mean, what's that?
Do you have any plans on streaming in the future? Like, would that be something?
Unless I probably have like a co-host or something, and like I find a good game to stream, then maybe. But that's about it.
ASMR of Smiling Joe.
Okay, all right.
And Hip playing Minecraft. Yep.
I haven't heard Hip's voice yet. I've heard
Me
most
neither.
people, or like most of the.
He says it's very nasally, but it's really not. He's just freaking out about it.
Self-conscious.
Yes.
Understandable.
I remember him and was it you, him, and Moe that were in it that one time?
Moe.
Or like I think. Is it Mo
it's
or
Mo.
Moe? Am I just retarded? Okay, yeah, I'm just fucking stupid.
Because Moe is the Japanese thing.
It was like no, Mo got on his account was in voice chat.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of people in there.
So everyone just got to see my mental retardation.
So, you
God,
are
I fucking
a
hate myself.
lone crusader for Team Fortress 2. Like, I don't think there's anyone else in the server playing. Except for
I know
you.
Shards does sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
Shard
like-
does sometimes. There's one guy who plays it, not with me, but fairly regularly. I think it's Jackie Chu. I think that's his name.
What's weird about all this, though, is not that you playing it, but you have not given up on trying to get people to play this game.
Well, I mean, it's one of those games where it's like it's more fun with people, with friends to play with. And I mean,
That's for
like
sure.
I,
Going on community
even though
servers.
even though he's not very active on the server, I fairly semi often play with Blank or Canalb, or however he wants you to say it.
Oh.
Let's not talk about the Nalby incident.
How he's a clone or
those-
whatever.
For those who don't know, there's a clash of absolute titans going on in the Discord chat every day, I think, where we
Slep
don't know
Wars.
who the real Slep or Nalby is anymore.
Nalby.
They had their profile pictures were identical, except Taiga was facing a different direction. And when they noticed that, it was just all hell broke loose.
Because they kept switching it to try to get to the other one, but then it ended up opposite anyway, so it was just like...
Oh yeah, by the way, they're
Massive
facing
clusterfuck.
the same way now. So
Whatever.
Shit. They've assimilated.
And so we're just kind of like, when you see Slep Machine broke in the chat, you don't know, is this Slep or Nalby?
Make sure you check what their actual name
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
You, but it's just funny, because if you give yourself that extra layer of challenge, you have no idea.
Blank's my ship on the
Blank
server.
is your ship on the server.
Yeah, boy. You're like, aren't you with like J Driver
Yeah.
or something like that, who hasn't been on in like literally like 2 months?
Yep, pretty much. I think we are the longest ship on the server. I think. Don't quote me on that.
How long ago did we get the
Longest ship on
get
the server
box
is
for
Zerax
that?
and Sheen.
What was that?
Go ahead, Loss.
I said longest ship on the server is Zerax and Sheen.
Oh.
I was just saying, how long ago did we get the bots for the server?
Oh, heck if I know. At least a couple months.
When did you join the server, actually, Joe?
I want
How
to
long
say May of last year. I want to say like the
Okay,
14th
so
or something.
You've been here quite some time, yeah.
Oh, happy 1 year
How
anniversary.
about a year or
Wait,
so.
You want to talk about E3?
You guys
since
are
we're on the
cutting
topic
out
of
there, I
gaming not
can't
that
hear
long
ya.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
His mic's
I
going.
assume Audacity is actually accurately recording all this stuff. It's just over our actual chat. It sounds like we're having some difficulties. We're cutting out. I do apologize for that. This is like the 4th time in this episode, and I'm.
You good there?
Just trying to see if we can get that fixed real quick.
Lost, can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, okay.
Is this Discord's problem
Oh, it
right now?
fixed itself now. All right, let's leave and rejoin real quick.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
We all
So,
good?
Audio sounds good on our ends. No one sounds off to anybody?
I blame Dark's internet.
Unfortunately, you can. I'm not hosting this.
Damn it. Dang it.
I've only been in the McDonald's bathroom for like a week.
But I do apologize to our viewers for that. We're hoping it should be stable for the rest of the episode here.
It's probably not going to be.
All right, so you want to move on to E3
Okay.
for now?
Yeah. So E3 just happened.
Uh-huh.
Sadly, well, depending on your stance.
Yeah, it depends.
I mean, yeah.
So, who had the most cringeworthy presentation for you?
I think it's more of the aftermath for the PS4 one. That was the cringe.
Oh, all the
Ooh,
music
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was so funny.
Yeah,
The flute
everyone
guy.
was so uppity about that. And I'm like, man, just come on now. But I don't think I really had a.
He probably
cringy
got
one,
paid
so.
like a couple grand to play the flute, so.
I was just surprised that they moved the audience, had pointless music pieces that like the banjo guy in the beginning. I thought like a trailer
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna start playing and he would be the live music, and it's like, oh no, we're just having a guy play the banjo. I'm like, oh, if only I was here. If only this video game trade show showed me something like video games. Thankfully Sony knows what I really want. You know, I mean,
They do their own thing.
Do you guys think The Last of Us 2 gameplay was scripted?
oh,
Because it looked hella
oh
scripted.
yeah,
Yep.
and how many times? How many times, Sony, are you going to trot out The Last of Us Part 2, a game that should have came out ages ago because you already remastered the first one, and just show essentially the same thing every time?
Oh, did they?
Oh, here she
Where's
is.
Red Dead 2, Sony?
Doing stealth, killing, everybody, and then, mission's over. Every time.
Well,
just
but now
sneaks up on a
she's
group,
making out with
tracks
someone,
them.
so that's something.
Oh, yeah.
Another female. That's what's up, boys.
And that
Last of Us
that
Yuri.
girl that she was kissing had like a nose, I think the size of the average hood of an SUV.
All right then.
And so I've seen nothing but memes about that
Oh,
since.
jeez. Yeah, I never really paid much attention to The Last of Us just because it's another zombie game, at least for me.
Yeah, and
It's pretty overhyped. The story's good.
I mean, yeah, the story's
but
good, but I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
just meh.
I'm not a Sony guy by any means. I haven't owned a PlayStation since the PS2, but like people, I've never understood the attraction to being like, oh, Sony is just killing it with stuff like Last of Us. I'm like, are they really though? Because Last of Us Part 1 was a PS3 game, right?
Yeah.
They remastered it for the PS4, and now we're still waiting for The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm just kind of like, Sony, the PS4 is almost done. You still can't get the sequel of a game out. Like, I'm astounded.
I think the worst company about that is Konami.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Konami just doesn't.
Whole money.
Well,
Konami.
they took all the rights for Kojima's games, like all of them. He doesn't have any of his original companies or IPs. I don't know what kind of contract he signed, but it was definitely not a good one.
I think at the time Konami was a very, very different company, and he never foresaw what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those
I need
things-
me and Xerax need another Zone of the Enders game,
Mhm.
so hopefully they fix it. Because what was that Death Stranding gameplay, Kojima? Big rigs over the top racing. Like he had like 8 boxes on his back. Like what the fuck?
and that's another one I don't get. I don't understand the attraction to Death Stranding. I know it's a Kojima game, but like, guys,
That's the only reason I'm
I
holding
mean, it
on.
looks
to it.
interesting. But
nothing comprehensible, or
I'm holding out because it's a Kojima game. That's it.
I understand the mystery's part of the fun of it, but there's a point where I'm kind of like, 3 years now we've seen this game trotted out.
Yep.
With literally knowing nothing more, arguably less than when
arguably less.
than before we saw these. So
Man, I thought it was Far Cry Primal 2 in the first trailer. So, on another note, what was your favorite presentation?
I mean, you probably know it already. Can you take a guess?
Kingdom Hearts?
Clearly, yes. Yeah, it's
Smash.
I think you. Yes, Nintendo's.
I mean, it's
Smash Brothers.
it's kind of hard. I mean, you know that like meme going around where it's like the little bird and the crow.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I am the crow. I am. I apologize. I am the crow. But I mean, come on, man.
It's Smash.
Yeah, come on.
I think the worst part of of all of E3 was the fact that so how many times did they play the Kingdom Hearts trailer? Like 3 or 4 times,
Did they?
and there was no sound
Yeah, I
effects.
noticed that
Like
too.
they didn't put any effects the whole time.
Was that on purpose?
It seemed off, and then I realized like there's no sound effects. That's why it's so weird.
Square Enix is just the blind leading the blind right now, and so like I'm not.
They didn't give us a
surprised
Yoko
that they
Taro
would
presentation.
mess up something and show the same Kingdom Hearts trailer at 3 different presentations or whatever.
Yep.
And so I'm just like.
And then they were like, yeah, Yoko Taro has a new project. You can probably expect it at the next E3.
Next
and then like
E3.
JK reporting Nier Automata to Xbox for no reason.
So when they say he's got a new project, if it's going to be shown at next E3 as a reveal, that almost guarantees 8 years from release date, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
At least.
Because Final Fantasy VII Remake is not coming until the universe gets its own remake first,
Yep.
and then we can get
Sounds
7.
about right.
Then we can get 7 remade. Because I don't even follow it that much, but what I have heard is astounding. Like when they basically redid all the models or whatever for Cloud and made him look younger and all that. I was
Yeah,
like, you
and
know
they
that
redid
would have
the
been taken
combat.
care of already. And I know they ripped it from the company they had do that work do for them, but I'm just like, Square, maybe more planning
Their
from the get-go.
conference was just bad overall. They had like 4 games, but none of them had gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that we want to see is gameplay, because you can show us all the fancy,
Right, yeah,
flashy
that's E3.
cutscenes or whatever that you want, but
Anthem.
we need to see the real meat of the game.
Now,
And then what was weird is there's games that they've been teasing at previous E3s that they didn't show at this one, which was strange to me. That was
Vaporware
weird.
incarnate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Cyberpunk 2077 trailer. That was nice. Glad we got more on that, even though it's probably like 3 years from release.
I think it's sooner than that.
Maybe like
Well,
2.5.
didn't they start They started developing it before The Witcher 3. They started developing The Witcher 3. So I'm thinking it's probably been scrapped a few times, or it's going to be the greatest game of all time.
I think people are
Pretty big
putting way
disparity.
too much faith in a company that's only famous for The Witcher.
I think why so many people like CD Projekt is they're like so supportive of the gaming community. Like they're not like EA or Ubisoft that treats it as like a service. They love games because
Yep.
they're games. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's I as a company, they certainly are just awesome. They have more morals in the business than anybody. I just there's so much hype for it, and I'm just kind of like, guys, like they're a great company and all. They can certainly design games. I mean, look how good Witcher 3 was. Look at just the following it still has, even though we're quite a bit after Witcher 3 came out. I'm just I feel like people have put so much expectation and hope into this game. I don't know if it can actually meet it, just for the fact that it's the level of hype is that high.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
I'm a massive fan of the cyberpunk genre, and I'm a massive fan of CD Projekt Red, so it's going to be pretty tough to disappoint me. I'm thinking it's going to be a lot like Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Now,
especially because that's a good game too, even though the ending was trash.
So, what do you think of the trend of mobile games that kept getting shown at E3 this year? Was about, Joe? Like, because I know it's like everyone had a freaking mobile game.
I mean, it's, more and more people are just kind of on the go and whatnot. And I mean, they are popular, they are selling, so I mean, why not, right?
Right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I wasn't watching, but didn't EA have like a live
yes.
battle between mobile? Oh my God.
EA, Bethesda, Microsoft, those 3 all showed a mobile game. And I'm kind of like, guys, this is E3.
Gears of War pop.
Wait a week until E3 after, and then just drop the trailer on your Twitter. But that's just me.
Yeah,
That's just me. But I'm just kind of like, show me the real meat here.
The real stuff we
Not
want.
I feel like E3 has lost its original purpose, just like Games Done Quick. Like Games Done Quick, when it was originally founded, it was in a basement with like very few participants, but it was made because everybody there loved speedrunning, and it's what they wanted to do, and they wanted to support a good cause while doing what they loved. But now, Games Done Quick is so restrictive that speedrunners are afraid to go
I heard
because
about
they don't
that.
want to get banned from speedrunning.com.
Yeah, isn't it like you
can't make any jokes, you can't have fun.
Yeah, I remember seeing some
and
videos
now
on that.
E3 is corporate
That
as
too,
shit.
yeah.
No indie developers go. It sucks.
Well, I mean, that's just how the world works sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So now, Joe,
Yes.
since we wanna learn about you some.
Okay.
What's your history with gaming? Like, when did you start? What was that first console for you that really hooked you?
Nintendo 64. I think I first played it when I was around 6, 7, somewhere around there. I don't remember. But my first.
You were never that young, Joe. You were born how old you were.
But yeah, first game, Ocarina of Time, which is also my favorite game. So.
Oh, okay. So, what about Ocarina of Time is your absolute favorite? Obviously, it has a deep connection to your childhood.
Yeah, nostalgia is fortunately, unfortunately, a big part of it. And I don't know, everything just feels good with it. I mean, obviously
Do you speedrun as well?
I can do some of the glitches, but nowhere near like speed run levels, you know. Like I've done I think it's called like Hess or something, or the extended super slide, where it involves like using a bomb and damage
And you blow yourself backwards and stuff.
And you know, I know time saving things, stuff like that.
Yeah, now excluding glitches, because that stuff's harder to pull off. That's a lot of practice. How fast can you just go into that game, like playing it, get through?
You know, I've never actually timed myself doing it. If we're talking like skipping everything, I personally don't know how fast I could do it. I mean, I know the game like the back of my hand, so.
So you could do it pretty quick if you gave it a good go.
Yeah, but probably nowhere near as like fast as other people.
Oh, no.
Let me see what the record is right now.
Yeah, just add on like an hour and then it'll be good.
So N64 was what you were playing at as a really young kid, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the N64 just had games that have delivered experiences that have not been matched since by the likes of like Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, that sort of thing.
Right.
As you got older, did you stick with Nintendo? So you moved into the GameCube, or did you dabble in like the PlayStation or the original Xbox?
Moved on to GameCube. Then after GameCube, we got an Xbox, and it was only I think I was the first person to get a PlayStation system. So, and you know, the first one I got was PlayStation 2, and it was only for like 2 games. So.
Just a little update on what we were talking about before. The world record right now for Ocarina of Time, it was achieved 4 months ago, and it's 17 minutes and 7 seconds.
Well, that's with the whole glitches and stuff.
That's any percent. Yeah, that's any percent. 100% is 4 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, it was achieved a day ago.
Really? Oh, wow. What website is this?
Speedrun. Yeah.
Speedrun.com.
Speedrunning.com. Because I know there's some competition between everything from speedrunning.com to Twin Galaxies and all that other stuff as to.
Yeah, I always just use Speedrun.
I don't like Twin Galaxies. Their mods are Nazis.
So you have a pretty big history with Nintendo, and I know because we're friends on Switch that you're still with Nintendo because, as stated, you have a Switch. What are you playing on Switch?
Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Star Allies, Skyrim.
More recent releases.
What else am I playing on there? I think that's about it. What I am going to get, it's coming out somewhat soon, is Octopath Traveler, and also Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
I know a
That's
lot.
if you have a Japanese account.
Well, yeah, but again, it's why bother when the U.S. international release is just coming out in like August or something, I think.
You can get it cheaper. Exchange rate, it's like $53.
Yeah, but then I have to go with all the rigmarole of translating it or whatever. Looking up buttloads of guides.
I think you might be able to still switch it to English.
No,
I don't think
this is one of the crazy things with it is that like the game, because it's like it's the super upscaled version of the 3DS one, right? It's crazy because they had the Double Cross only in Japan, right, which is its Japanese name. But a localization was already done for the 3DS one, and then and of course I'm sure they want to do like sound work and stuff because they have much better speakers than the 3DSs, of course.
Yep.
But so the gameplay has now been upscaled, up-resed, all these things, right? And there's already a localization done. So what took them so long to do a Western version?
I assume, well, because with every Ultimate release, there's always a new rank. There's always G rank, so you have to add in like all sorts of new different dialogue interactions, stuff with like you can do in the offline caravan, I guess, or not the caravan, offline villages and whatnot. There's a whole lots of different translations that need to get done. Not to mention, there's probably a lot of monster text that needs to get translated as well, since also in Ultimate / G ranks, they add in a whole buttload of new monsters. Well, mainly subspecies, but they add in a lot of new stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I can see some work, but it's going to be a year now. So I wonder if Capcom just said, "Oh, we underestimated this."
I mean, they always do. I think.
Oh, it's Capcom.
Monster Hunter World was a big kick in their rear end. Like, oh, hey, Western audiences care about this. So that's probably what prompted it.
Yeah, because they always catered towards Japan, and pretty much and almost all of their games they catered to the Japanese audience.
Which makes sense, given they're a Japanese company. There is more money to be made in the West, but I mean, they are a Japanese company.
Right.
I really like Japanese companies, but I think that's probably their biggest downfall. There's so many games that obviously do have they would have a big or like a large margin of success in America. They just don't bother because
they don't think it'll sell well.
They make the money they need. They don't think about the money they could make.
I think
which could be good or bad.
Just anxiety over it, and it's easier to say, "Oh, we don't need to do that extra work," It won't make the money we need it to make to do that. When it's kind of like, oh, you might, and then the ones that are daring take the risk, and it's kind of like what anime has become,
right?
Where it's like it's very profitable in the West between Crunchyroll, Funimation, that sort of thing. Now, Joe,
how do you feel about Crunchyroll?
I don't like it.
You don't like
it? Any care to elaborate?
Not really. I don't know. I just kind of don't like it.
No. I just drop hot takes.
I've never used it before. What my thing is that I know someone somewhere is gonna berate me for this, but I'll just watch it on a site that either has little ads or no ads, and then if I like the stuff, I'll get it. I'll get some like DVDs, some figures or whatever, and support them that way. That's just how I am.
That's the only reason Crunchyroll, while I don't like them as a streaming service. They do a lot for anime in the U.S.
Does Crunchyroll have ads when you pay for a service?
No.
Premium removes them all, but it's like
Because I know Funimation's like $6 a month, so to me it was a no-brainer.
I think Crunchyroll's more.
Really?
Oh.
And there's technically less work involved there.
Yeah.
But they do, like they did the Anime Awards.
Well, we don't talk about the Crunchyroll Anime Awards.
At least
we don't
they
talk
tried.
about that.
So, okay, since we were talking about video games, it's probably gonna. I think I know who it's gonna be because of your favorite game being Ocarina of Time. But who is your favorite video game boss?
Ganondorf.
Yeah, and if I had to guess,
which rendition
from?
What was that?
Which rendition of him?
Oh, I mean, from most fun I've had fighting him, probably Twilight Princess, I'd say.
Oh, really? I mean, I would have put money down on Ocarina of Time.
Well, I mean, they were fairly limited in what they did with the Ocarina of Time Ganondorf fight. I mean, overall, I like Ocarina of Time Ganondorf more, if that makes sense.
Right, as a character.
Right,
if I understand that correctly. Just to clarify.
I mean, I like I like the Ganon fight in Ocarina of Time more. You know, the final fight. So
That's like beast
What's your
form, right?
least favorite boss?
Give us the rundown of these.
Oh
what
yeah,
was
yeah,
that?
sorry, sorry.
Give us the rundown of this fight, because the way I know it, I'm not a big Zelda fan, but I have played a couple of them.
For
Um,
Ganon fight?
yeah, Ganon's the beast form, right?
Yeah.
When the pig monster.
So basically it involves just you either. I think there's like a couple things you can do. You can either use light arrows to stun him, or you can use Deku Nuts. You can use your hook shot. You can just try and dodge his attacks and roll under him. You want to attack his tail until I don't remember how many hits it takes, but he knocks away your sword, like the Master Sword. So you have to use either the Bigoron sword or the Megaton hammer, and
Okay.
eventually you weaken him enough so that way you can go grab the Master Sword. Then you do it again until you kill him.
Oh, okay. Using the Master Sword
Yeah.
now to.
Because I think what it is that every weapon does like next to no damage to him, so you can't actually kill him. I don't think with any other weapon except for the Master Sword. It's the only one that does the quote unquote true damage. I think is how it went.
Okay.
So.
And this is an Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Because Twilight Princess I have played through. In that fight, I know it parallels it in a couple places. But that was actually the beast form was the second stage of that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Which I find very strange, but whatever.
Since you like the Ganondorf fights, how did you feel about the Breath of the Wild one? Since it was kind of a letdown as a final boss.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
Cinematic.
it was cinematic, yes. Obviously I like how you can just go there right away, yada yada yada. But I don't know, it's just I never really liked the combat in Breath of the Wild. Like, it's
Really?
just okay, dodge at the right time, flurry attack, dodge at the right time, flurry attack, yada yada yada. I mean, it's just kind of bleh for me. I mean, I know there's like this whole thing where you can do like, oh, you can sneak around and shoot arrows at them, or you can use your magnesis thing and drop a boulder on them. It's just like, why bother? Just go for whatever's the most efficient way I can do it.
If I were a video game reviewer, I would say it's the Dark Souls of Zelda combat.
No,
But I can't make that comparison seriously because I'm not a video game reviewer, and thus I actually can avoid using the phrase in an ironic manner.
Yes. But yeah, I think Breath of the Wild is a good game. I don't think it's a good Zelda game. That's my opinion.
Interesting. That's not I don't want to. It is mildly uncommon, but it's not amongst the longtime Zelda fans. I hear that.
See, it's like
that's not the first
since I started with Ocarina of Time, I didn't play Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link to the Past, or anything like that. I mean, obviously I went back to play those, but I didn't have as much fun as I did with Ocarina of Time and a lot of the newer ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've never liked the 2D Zeldas very much. Personally.
I mean, they're fun.
They feel restrictive after playing the 3D.
I mean,
ones.
yeah, that's just kind of how it goes.
See, here's where I differ on these things. I'm a Metroid guy. It's my
Really,
favorite
your favorite
series.
thing is your favorite series is Metroid? I never would have guessed.
He says that for those who can't see my profile pictures of Dark Samus. And I've always thought like the Zelda formula that Ocarina of Time established, with like finding power-ups and using it, right?
Yeah.
I always thought Metroid has done that better since day one. And so I think it's strange that like when Ocarina of Time does break from that, people are like, oh no, this is not how it should be, and I'm kind of like, well, wasn't Metroid already doing stuff with the power-ups that, in my opinion, of course, was just a little bit more fine-tuned and sometimes interesting than what Zelda was doing? Where do you stand on that?
I mean,
thought?
I have played like not all of the Metroid games, but Prime 1, 2, and Super Metroid. And I mean, it is fun, but I don't know. It's just not the same as Legend of Zelda. Just it feels too much cramped, I guess you could call it, since you're always.
So
What's that?
most of it's underground, right?
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or in tunnels,
You know, and
narrow,
then and then
narrow
and then
passages, these kind of things.
yeah, and then in at least most of the areas of Zelda games, it's like you got these at least fairly big areas you can roam around in, look for stuff, and just explore and see if you can find stuff. But I don't know. I just like the wider open areas. I don't like the feel.
The Zelda formula did it more for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, plus, not to be rude, but also you can kind of tell to see which one is more at the forefront. I mean, you know.
Look, people also like Sharknado.
Well, I think that's more of
we can't trust.
that's
we
more
can't
of a
trust
guilty
these people
pleasure
when it
thing,
comes
though.
to
I mean,
determining.
at least I hope so.
I'm not even gonna get in between this.
What's that?
So
This is true beef, y'all.
Loss. We're wrapping up here, running short on time. Is there any final thing you want to ask Joe before we sign off? Give our preview of the next.
Who's your least favorite video game boss?
Least favorite video game boss? Ugh. It's a tough one, actually. I think probably in Beautiful Joe 2, which is a game that not many people know about, there is a demonic form of a character known as Alistair, and I had so much trouble with him. Like I just couldn't beat him for so long, and he just gave me so much trouble and frustrated me so much.
It stopped being fun.
Pretty much. And I don't know why I had so much trouble with him, but whatever.
All right. Well, to end on a positive note, because we just drudged up all those sad thoughts about Beautiful Joe too. So, what has been the most exciting thing to happen to you in one of your hobbies, be it anime or video games, something else? What has been the thing that you're looking forward to, enthuses you, enjoyed it? What was that?
Like in the near future or just in general?
It could have just happened, near future.
Probably.
Or Among Us
No,
Sensei
no,
OVA?
that is at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the list. Like, my goodness. That's a bit of a tough question, I'd say. At least for me, because
Oh, the JoJo review.
well, yeah, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see for that one. I mean, I know it's going to be good, but still. Probably just seeing I'm trying to think here. I guess I can't really think of anything right now. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. So let me narrow it down. In anime.
In anime, I guess I can't remember the name of it, but the Otaku's first love or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't for the life of me remember, but that show has been really fun, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. I have not seen the most recent episode.
Is it still
at least
airing?
I think so.
Well, we've hit just about an hour. Joe, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you will become a regular here on the podcast. I hope we see you on a show again. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule and answering some questions and just hanging out, having fun.
Yeah, no problem.
On the next episode, me and Loss, your two hosts, will be talking to the third member of the production team for these, which is CP Man V2.
Man, the myth, the legend.
Oh yeah.
Fellow Triad member.
Yeah, yes, the triad. Yes.
We would like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys continue to tune in and give us feedback. We appreciate all feedback. We've had a overwhelmingly positive response to the first episode. I know Lost was surprised by the amount of views we got on the first one, and I certainly was as well. Is there anything you want to say, Lost?
Yeah, definitely thank you guys so much. The server's been nothing but like litness since I joined. And this podcast just really blew my mind. And special shout out to Shin, who managed to get us out onto the Reddit and get us
Yes,
more
thank you.
attention that way.
Yes, thank you, Shin. And seriously, guys, like everyone who watches is in the server. Thank you guys for not only making our podcast great and like having people, because like we have people who really are want to come on, and we have them of course scheduled, and we're working to schedule everybody who wants to. Um, if you're interested in that, just DM me or Loss or CP Man. Um, and like I said, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. But thank you for guys just making a great server too that's still active for an anime that came out in 2009. So thank you guys, and we hope to see you guys on the next episode.
Yep, for sure.